All right, guys, welcome to the Basketball Performance Podcast. This could be the most meaningful episode that I've had. Number one, because the guest is here, and number two, it's in my gym. So we were talking about this off air that I'm going to build a studio, but until I do, which I haven't yet, we're going to use this massage table.
This is so nice.
And the walls are going to be what it looks like because we throw medicine balls against it. So today, my guest is like my little sister, one of my players, and the first girl in the history of locally school Hong Kong to ever play in the NCAA, Yannie Chan. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. And to be honest with you guys, I really didn't prepare that much because I wanted this to be more of a free-flowing conversation.
Yep.
Into getting to know Yannie and to getting to know a little bit about you personally and views, because I think when you look through Instagram and learn about Yannie, you see a lot about your basketball, but people don't actually know you as a person. So rather than just asking about your background and tell me about your family and all that kind of good stuff,
Yep.
I want you to tell me, what do you think, what does it mean to you to be the first locally schoolgirl in the history of Hong Kong to ever play in the NCAA?
I'd say it's definitely a dream come true moment for me because like growing up, I know I love basketball. I have like such a passion in basketball, but I never like, cause we don't have professional like in Hong Kong for women's. So I don't know what to do after probably my like high school and college career. After like I have like done with school, like should I still play basketball? Should I work and then go to practice late, like from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Because everybody at the high level works.
Yep.
So everybody at the high level in Hong Kong works because there's no such thing as professional.
Yep.
Right.
So like most of my teammates on the national team, they have like a full-time job, like teacher, maybe like doing all those kind of like full-time job, and then they go to practice afterwards, which I don't think I can be like able to do it because like personally I like to give 100% every time when I go to practice. So like how am I able to like give 100 when I'm exhausted from like work?
Sure.
So I feel like for me going to like being able to like go to the state, being the first one, I feel like definitely for myself it's like just everything for me. It changed my life. So, and I also think it brings me hope because I used to like what I said, I used to like don't think about I used to dream about like maybe I can go play like not like the NBA, like because by the time when I was young I only know about NBA, so like wow, those professional athletes look so cool. They can like have their favorite thing as like their job, which is so cool. I want to be like that, but there's no way in Hong Kong I can do it. So until I get to the state and now I meet a lot of players who are going overseas to be professional. Like I met like one player who was drafted in the WNBA. So it was just like eye-opening experience that I know I picked the right path for my future, and it's just everything for me.
What do you think it means to Hong Kong that they have a player playing in the NCAA, not only playing in the NCAA, but finding great success? So what do you think it means to Hong Kong? And number two, do you think they understand, in English we say the magnitude, the bigness of the situation?
For the first question, I feel like for Hong Kong, it's definitely like, it's like the same as for myself. Like it's definitely like providing hope for people, because like now when I look at like at the Go Team girls, like those girls who are like 15, like 13, 15, they love basketball. They were like me when I was 13 and 15. They were so passionate about basketball. Like I can tell they look up to me a lot, and they know that it's possible to be able to go out and like to overseas, to the state, which is basically the home of basketball, to just like play, and like I can do well, so why can't they do well? So I think like me as a person, I try to be a role model for them, so I can inspire them to actually like try to like think out of the box, because I feel like going out like to play basketball overseas or in the state was not something that is stable, like which is like safe, which is like not something that we would do, like I would think about before. So I think for Hong Kong girls, like especially, like I feel like it's a proof that Hong Kong athletes, Hong Kong women athletes, we girls, we can be able to achieve something in the highest level too. I think this means a lot to me personally, and I hope this will inspire a lot of like youngs in Hong Kong. And for the second question, I feel like there's not much understanding about NCAA in Hong Kong. Like even for me, before you mentioned to me that do you want to go to the state and play NCAA, and then I look it up, like I have absolutely no knowledge about what is NCAA.
So would that mean just the NCAA in particular, or does Hong Kong have good knowledge of EuroLeague?
No.
So would they have knowledge of the NBL in Australia?
No, for sure.
These are all very high levels of basketball. So what you're telling me is that maybe Hong Kong as a place doesn't really know what's outside.
Yep.
Even if we say, do they fully understand the CBA, which is in China?
Not really.
Right, okay. So it's kind of like a small bubble?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, keep going, please.
I just feel like first we don't have the knowledge, and because like our culture didn't really appreciate sports that much. We didn't really focus on like sports can actually, like a ball, like a basketball can actually further our education, further our lives, further everything, like in a good way.
Allow
like
you to see the world.
Yeah, they don't understand. Like for me, like to be able to be in the state to play NCAA, I like grow a lot in terms of basketball for sure, but I feel like the biggest part of it is to be able to meet different people. Like my best friend now, Jama, she's like a Somali Muslim influencer on basketball side. So I really learned a lot from her, like her inspiration to the kids, like how she's like fighting towards her norms to be able to play basketball. And I got to meet so many different people from different cultural bases, from different like countries. And it's just like, even like when I go back for summer leagues, I get to play with so many like different division players and like all
Division 1,
like
2, and 3.
Division 1, 2, 3, and then professional players. It was just like such an eye-opening experience for me to like keep my mind open, like to see how tiny I was too, like in Hong Kong. Like
Physically or like metaphorical, meaning like when you say tiny, you mean like how small on the earth you are.
Yes,
right.
But I think physically too.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean both, but like it's just I feel like we don't have the idea of how big the like basketball world is outside of here, like how people treat basketball so seriously in the rest of the world, but not us. Like maybe some of us in Hong Kong, but the amount of like the ratio of people is just so different. In the state, I can just go out to like outside court and then there's like crazy like good people hoopers around. Like it's just also like a cultural difference.
Did you speak English 3 years ago?
Not really. So basically, when I first come in here, like 3 or 4 years ago, like I was so shy. I feel like before I leave, I was like always, I feel like I'm like a hard worker, but I just feel like, I don't want to speak because I just want to prove with my action, which is still like a statement for me, but just to be able to speak English, to talk to different people, to communicate and learn from different people, is just opened my like experience a lot more. Like I feel like English for sure is the biggest part when I go to the state, because I need to like communicate with people by myself, because I'm like not like alone, but like physically I'm like going by myself. So I need to be able to like handle every like daily living by myself. So just staying here, being able to practice with professional players, talking to you, Angela, with English, just really helped me to like build my confidence to speak English. And like even my friends would tell me like from first year and sophomore year, which is like the second year, like my English improved a lot already, like from them. Like so it means a lot to me, like because English is the worldwide language, and basketball, basically, I feel like everyone speaks English, like in the world, who want to like be professional. Like you need to know English to be able to like communicate in basketball, in the worldwide, like
globally.
Yeah, globally.
This was a question that, as you were talking, I was just thinking back to when we were going through COVID, and we had this idea of you going to America.
Yeah.
But very, very few people saw what happened behind the scenes. It wasn't always very easy.
Yep.
Was your family and friends supportive of you going overseas?
I would say at first not, like, because like if I was my parent, I would not support too, but because there was no example, like no one have ever been to the state before, like to play basketball like that. And like even my parents are supportive before, like they come to all my games and stuff, but it's just hard to believe that someone like you just pour your heart to help me for free to get me a better life. Like it's just so hard to believe, to be honest. Like till this day, I feel like everyone around will be like, why is he helping you for free? Why is he why is he so free to be able to like manage to help you, help the Go team to go to the state? Like, what did you get? Like, why are you doing all these for us? I feel like there's still a question here, but it's just like, we don't understand too, like, because you have been there, like you were playing at Manhattanville, and like you know how basketballs look like there. Like I didn't know until I get there, so now we can like speak the same language basically. But I just feel like it's understandable to be like hard to like support when I like before I go, because it was like we took 2 years of practice. You reach out to like 200 coaches around the state. Oh my god, that was rough. Like, yeah, so it was just like it was just not a like, you know how Hong Kong people want to chase like a
stable life.
Stable life.
So it's not like going for the home run.
Yep.
It's like we're going to chase. This is not all Hong Kong people, but we're going to chase this stability.
Yes, that's what,
rather than chase the dream.
Yep. Because before I was studying SPE, which is like I might be able to become a teacher after.
So that's what you want to do. You want to be like, your goal was to be, before you're in the seat now, was to be a PE teacher.
Yep. Not really my goal.
Okay.
But it's just like because I love sports.
That's what you were working towards.
Yep. Because I love sports.
Right.
And that's a few courses that I can actually take that is related to sports that I might be able to like just, because there's a lot of like example to like successful example that people become a teacher and then they can still
basketball players become PE teachers.
Yes. Yep. In Hong Kong, right? Successful, right? So basically I was just following the path.
Right.
But until like, hey, now I got this opportunity, like you asked me, I still remember you stand here, ask me, hey, like, do you want me to go to the state to play NCAA? I was like, yeah, for sure. And then I was like, by the time I just hear the state play basketball, I was like, oh, the state, NBA, wow, it's like the biggest like basketball, like people who love basketball would want to go to the state and play basketball. And I was just like, yeah, we'll see if we can make, like, it's still like, I was shocked, I was happy that you trust me, but like you saw like the potential to like, I can be able to get there. But even myself, I didn't really believe that I'm gonna be able to get there until Coach Yosinov like called us, and so that's why I cried so hard.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my god, it really happened. Like dreams do come true.
Dreams can come true a lot if you follow the process. But it's very interesting because I wanted this conversation to be very free flowing and very genuine. This question was not there.
Yeah.
I didn't, because you guys might have seen I was writing it down while she was talking, because I was like, oh my god, like people just see the outline of what happened. And it seems like everything was, in English we call dandy and good and like easy and beautiful, but in fact that's like was not what happened.
Yep.
Right?
We spent like 2 years.
We spent 2 years. You know
every day.
You know what, Yannie? Like to me, that's the easy part. I just had a post that came out talk about physical versus emotional pain. Like you can take physical pain all day long.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But you had this dream. I had access to this dream to make it happen for you.
Yep.
But then you still had to trust me that I'm not some sort of like bad guy with an alternative motive. Like, this is very incredible because there's a lot of people out there who may not be in the same situation, may not even be in basketball, that have a dream. Their family is telling them not to do it. Their friends that they've known since they were kids are telling them not to do it. But you did, and it worked out for the very, very best. How did you do it? That's more incredible to me than all the other parts. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I feel like when you first told me like to go to the state, to have this dream, it actually gives me like motivation, hope to like work harder, like to see how far I can go, like to see, like basically even for now it's like how far can I go as a basketball player, like how can I learn more and then just reach my highest potential as like possible. So it was like growing up, I always loved basketball. I feel like it's always my like top priority over everything. So being able to reach the dream, like when it comes to me, it's just like it's not easy to like convince my parents to be like, hey, can you let me go please? It took like a long time for me to talk to them, to tell them like what it takes for me to like what I promised them, like so many stuff. Like, I mean, of course they're worried about my safety. They were like, I've never been to the state before. I've never go outside of Asia before. Like, I go to the States. So I was always a protected, spoiled kid in Hong Kong. So that's why they were like so worried and they don't want me to go. But like, we spent so much time to just try to get as much information as possible to be able to get through all these with my parents. Like, I mean, my friends, of course I'm gonna miss them because we grew up playing basketball for almost like more than 10 years together. So it was like a rough time to be like, hey, I'm leaving you guys. I don't know when I'm gonna come back. Like some of them, because in Hong Kong, some of them, like I know they might not play basketball anymore next year when I come back. That's what I hear, some of them. So it might be the last time that we play basketball together. So it was just like emotionally a lot for people around me too. So for me to be able to trust you is because like you did all this stuff like for me behind the scene. I don't know, but like all the stuff here that I feel that we both have the same goal and same passion, that like I can work with you. Like I feel like you're like my bigger brother and also like my coach here. So it was, I mean, you guys definitely give me a lot of confidence to like fight through all these, but I feel like that journey to like just to figure out what is inside my heart, it takes a while to like, I'm glad that I have that 2 years of COVID year to actually see what I really want. And once, like I think my parents like now understand is my journey, like in the future, like
it's a big thing.
Like they're not gonna be able to baby me till I'm like what, 30, 40? So it's my life. So they will support, they're gonna worry anytime, like you know parents, right? So they're gonna worry anytime, but at least they know that I should go for what I want. Like even for this time, like Germany, I was a little bit worried, like because again, like I've never been to Europe. Like of course there's gonna be nerves, like that. Oh, I'm going to a professional team. It might be a try, like it might be the first impression to the coaches, like the European coaches is very important. So it was a little bit like stress last week, a little bit of nerves, and then even this time my mom will be like if it is the right thing to do for you, just do it. And
wow.
I was
so
like,
there's growth there too.
Yep.
That's very important. So sorry, by the way, today is, what's the date today? 5th of June? 5th of June. And it is 10:30 a.m. right now. Where are you going tonight?
Tonight at 8:30 p.m. I'm going to Germany, Berlin. I got an opportunity to practice with Alba Berlin in Germany, one of the like most prestigious like professional basketball club in Germany.
In Europe.
In Europe, sorry, yeah.
Well, no, I mean both.
Yeah. It was just wow. I can't believe, like I can't wait to like just get there and just show what I got at the same time, like just learn from all the coaches, players, how they treat basketball like professionally. Like I've never get to touch that part yet. In the state, I'm glad that we have like a very good system that I kind of know. Like I have a game day routine, I have everything that I feel like equip me to be a professional player like in the future. But this is the first time I really get to like be like a professional player for like 3 weeks. So very excited for that.
What would you say is your mission right now?
I would say for now, like in the short term, for me, myself, it would definitely be a professional player. Like, but for long term, because I grew up here and I really like appreciate what you did for like Hong Kong basketball. I feel like after I learn all those kind of stuff, after playing professional, hopefully, like in the future, I wish I can use what I got, like use what I learned to be able to like give back to the community. Because I feel like giving back is like a big thing that I learned from the state too. Like how my friend, how those NBA superstars, they always give back to the community that they grow up.
So that's something you learned there. Is that what you're like more so?
Yeah.
Not that it doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
But you see it a lot more there.
Mm-hmm. Like my best friend, like Jamal.
Yeah. Give us an example.
So she is one of the nicest person I've ever met. Hardest worker. We become so close because we were in the gym every single day last year together. So I got to know her more, and then I got the opportunity to go to her basketball camps, which is like in Minnesota, like during Thanksgiving. And I saw so many like young Muslim girls competing. She created this like opportunity for girls who didn't really have chance to play basketball outside of her basketball camp to be able to just play with people with hijabs, play with people like without hijabs, like me. I was one of the players too. It was just so cool to see her, actually it was so cool to see her being so friendly to like all the like her young sisters basically. And then looking at those like players when they saw Jamal, their eyes was like, oh my god, it's Jamal, like she's so cool, she's so nice, like I want to be like her. I think that is one thing that I want to do to like, she is inspiring her community. Like I always asked her like, what is your goal? Like she always told me her goal is to like make like Muslim girls, like not make, but like being able to like promote or like create a community for Muslim girls to be able to play basketball or just play sports, because it was not a norm in the Muslim like
correct
like community. So for me it was just so touching when I saw those, like she do so much for her girls. And I'll be like at one point I told her, I was like, when I go back home, if I have a chance, I want to do a camp too, like what you did. And she always said like one day I'll come to Hong Kong to like do a camp with me. Like I feel like it's just so inspiring. She's just my role model, my big sister, like my best friend who work at like, sometimes she's my trainer too, because she train me like we train together. Like she teach me all this stuff. So
how do you know if you've been successful in your mission? Like let's say basketball is a little bit easier to see. It's binary, black and white. Maybe. But how do you know if you've been successful in your long-term mission?
I feel like everyone defines successful differently. For me, for now in this, after all these, I feel like my success is to leave no regrets in like what I do. So like I think I really like one time when I watched like one of the film, like I think Kobe was talking, that people were asking why he worked so hard. And then Kobe was like, I don't want to look back and like look at the mirror or whatever, like, and say, I wish I could have done better. I feel like that's how I define successful. Like, I don't want to be like, after I finish all these, or maybe like when I knock the wood, like leave the world. I don't want to be like, oh, I wish I could have done more on this. I feel like for now my success is if I want to go for something, like it can be a goal, it can be like accomplishment if it's like more like black and white, but it can be something that I was chasing, like what I said, like helping Hong Kong basketball. Even though maybe at the end I didn't really get to change it, unfortunately, at least I tried my best to do it, and I was giving, like I was all in. I was doing, like putting all my effort in, and that's what I can control.
How do you think that you're looked at as an Asian in the States? And just like a tag onto that, how do you think you're looked at when you come back to Hong Kong? So the first question is, how are you looked at? How do you feel like you're looked at as an Asian playing basketball? It's not even Asian American, Asian.
Yeah, I would say Asian stereotype there, definitely very shy, very shy. And then I feel like hardworking is one of our like qualities.
Stereotypes, yeah.
And then book smart. Okay, let's talk about that. All right, I work pretty hard for my grades now. Yeah. All right, so I feel like before I was like that, like all three of like
stereotypes, all stereotypes, like
not book smart. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. You just didn't have time.
True. Yeah.
Okay, so shy.
Yep. Shy.
Could have been book smart. Hardworking.
Book smart. Yeah. I feel like in Hong Kong, I was very shy when I was like before I get there. I don't like to talk to people that I don't know.
What about like, I'm thinking of stereotypes.
Yeah.
What about like, how do you say it? Like, not forthcoming. So like you keep everything inside and you just follow orders.
Oh yeah.
Were you that person?
Yeah.
Okay, so the stereotype is shy, hardworking, and please don't give me your opinion because just listen to what I'm saying and then just do it.
Yeah.
So you fit all those three.
Yep.
Good, keep going.
Because even, I think I'm getting a little bit better for the last one because I feel like it's good to listen to at a certain point of like how people want you to be, but it's not gonna be what you want at last to please everyone. Because I used to be a people pleaser too. Like, I mean, sometimes I do now, but I'm trying to get better. Like, I always want to make sure everyone around me like is happy first before me. But I think in the States I learned my friends keep telling me, like they keep like telling me to put Yannie first. Like even my sports psychologist, she's like most of the time. I remember an example, like so it was an important game before, so I was like doing some notes on my notebook. So I was thinking as a point guard, how can I utilize the strength of my teammates? So I was drawing out like spots that my teammate most efficiently score. So let's say like I have a teammate who can shoot like the corner three the best. So how can I do the set to make her to be the corner set? I was thinking all these before a game. And I told my psychologist, and then she was like, that's nice. She didn't say anything before. But then, end up the game I played terribly. The reason, so after the game, because she gave me some homework to like evaluate my game or practice after the game to like write down one thing that I was successful, one thing that I can improve on, and one great effort. And improvement, I was thinking about it, I was brainstorming, and I think, why did I not think about how can I do something on the court? But I was thinking all about how I can make my teammate do better on the court, which should be how a leader do, should be how a great player to be able to like make their teammate play better. But if I don't think about myself first, like I'm not gonna make the decision right. I never told you this.
No. You kind of have, but then it's very, very interesting. You take that mentality, bring it back to Hong Kong. how do people look at you? Because there's clearly change in you. And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, different places, confidence can be confused with arrogance.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with a confident person globally to me. But you take that more individual mindset and like, you have to put Yannie first in order to help everybody else. I don't really care about what you think. I need to make sure that I take care of myself, all that kind of stuff. Then you bring it back and you're obviously more confident. How are you looked upon in Hong Kong?
I didn't really get a lot of comment. Like I don't really want to ask.
Right. Hey, what do you think of me?
Like, I love your quote that you posted the other day. Like, you say your favorite quote is, "Why do people think I try so hard to stay the same?" As if
I don't work this hard to stay the same.
Yeah. I think a couple of people that I'm close with here, they told me I'm definitely getting so much more confident. They didn't tell me like I was arrogant, but I know some people like you can just see from eyes people, or like just people will be like, why are you doing all these? Are you doing all these for a show? Like why are you so like self-centered or whatever? Like when I think about myself, like, or even maybe when they listen to this, they'll be like, oh, she changed because she used to care about so many people. But for me, like being an athlete, you can't please all other people. Like, it's just like, okay, on the court, if you have a wide open shot and then this teammate is not happy right now because she's not playing well, and she's being guard, am I gonna just pass? Like, I'm wide open, am I just gonna pass her?
You're
the
not
ball?
helping the team.
Yeah, like at the end, she will blame you too. Like you're
regardless.
Like, sometimes I feel like when you're trying to please people, you didn't like help yourself, and sometimes you kind of ruin something too. Like, and I think like talking back to what you said, like confidence and like self-care. I think self-care is a big part that in the state we mention all the time. Like, it's just so cool now to have the confidence, because I know what I'm capable to, like on the court or like off the court, and with the confidence, like you can basically just like face everything. Like sometimes there might be trial and error. Like, I'm not gonna make every shot. Like, some of the shots, it might be airborne. I can't like shoot every, like, it's not like every day is gonna be successful. Like, I think now I can be like, I'm still learning, but I can be able to cope with adversity a lot better with this kind of attitude.
Remember, guys, if you try to make everybody happy, the only person that will be unhappy is
selling ice cream,
or is you. Like,
oh, sorry.
I don't know what you're talking about. But if you try to make everybody happy around you, the only person that will be unhappy is you.
Yourself.
And I'm probably wrong, because even if you try and make everybody happy, people are unhappy. They're going to be unhappy anyway. Unhappy people are always going to find something that's wrong, and they're exhausting to be around. And those are the people you don't need in your life, because you don't want to be exhausted and negative all the time.
I remember last time when I was in the panel with Rachel, I think she said something so, like, I feel her so bad. She was like, as an athlete, there's so many comments around us. Not only athlete, but just as a person. There, especially in the social media world, there's so many comments, good or bad. Like, one day they might be like, oh, you look so fat. Or one day they were like, why are you so skinny? Like, hey, so what should I do? Like, when I get bigger, you said I'm fat. When I was like not big enough, you said I'm skinny. So, like, there's no perfect for everyone.
I mean, like, look, I was writing this down. Actors, artists, athletes, anybody who like is brave enough to put themselves in front of the public, right? First of all, you're brave enough to put yourself in front of the public. Mm-hmm. So if you're not brave enough to put yourself in front of the public, you should have no comment, number one. Number two, the greatest player of all time to me is Michael Jordan, right? Do you think Michael Jordan has enough time to scroll Instagram and leave everybody shitty comments? The answer is no, because he has better things to do. So anytime, 99% of the time, if you get a bad comment or hater, that person is not better than you. I guarantee it. Now, it's a very different thing. Now, I've gotten this too. Someone who I look up to, and he leaves me critical, constructive criticism. Like, hey, I think you should have done this better.
Yep.
And he's not going to do it in public. He's going to DM you and tell you that. That's someone who actually cares. That's someone who cares and wants to see you do better. It's a very different thing is like, well, you're fat. Well, you suck at shooting. Like there's no.
Yeah. Like.
There's no constructive feedback there. So remember that. Anybody who leaves you these comments, first of all, is from an account with a cat on it, right? It's not even their own face. The second thing is that people who are better than you don't have time to scroll and leave you shitty comments. You just don't, right? Because they have better things to do. So, I mean, that's what you always have to worry about, because, I mean, remember, is because if you try to make everybody around you happy, the only person that's going to be unhappy is you. That's very, very important.
I was about to say, I thought you were going to ask, like, who is the only person who can try to make everyone happy? Like, if you
it's ice cream. I see what you're saying. It's ice cream.
Yeah.
We don't have very much longer, and I want to put down my pen, put away my questions, and then have a very candid conversation with you.
Okay.
And this may make it to the film. This may not make it and be edited out. What is Hong Kong basketball doing right? What is it doing wrong?
All right.
I'm going to start with that, because then I want to know where you see it in 10 years. But answer the first part first.
The right thing? All right. I'll give it to, we do have talented players that count.
I mean, you have talented players everywhere.
True.
True or false?
True.
Like, show me a country that has zero talent, that's not in the middle of a war and are starving.
I mean, I can't really think about right as for now, because I feel like I've been in it and I have experienced like the US style. Like, I know more about basketball now, and like when I see all other countries how they try to do to like develop their basketball, like we're just going backwards. And if we're doing the right thing, I don't think we should be going backwards. So it's kind of.
We all agree.
It's kind of a hard question to ask. Okay, but for wrong, I can think of like 2 points for now, like big point. Like there's like so many small stuff, but first I definitely think when I compare to the state, it's definitely like cultural-wise, we just want instant success. It's like, hey, this is the instant noodles. Like you can eat it in like 2 minutes, right? Like the Hong Kong culture is just so fast-paced. We want to walk faster. We want to do everything faster. We want to get success as fast as possible.
This is very good, because now it's going to be more like a conversation. Do you think mainland is better in that sense? Same.
I actually haven't really been to mainland for
So
basketball.
I feel like it's a little bit different.
Like for fast-paced?
It's a little less fast. Like, it's weird, but like, you know, I've been going there a lot lately.
Yeah.
I feel like it 90% is the same, but I feel like actually, like the younger coaches, like they really want to learn. Like they really want to learn. And just because there's a sheer number of 1.3 billion people there, like even if only 1% wants to learn, that's still a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But sorry, I'm not trying to take this away from you. So what you're saying is the culture is fast. But it's very interesting, Yannie, because if I was to explain to you that it takes time to learn math or English,
it's fine.
It's like, it's fine. Because then when parents or teachers would get it, like, yo, they're not going to learn their times tables in a day. Oh, yeah, mama, like. But then for basketball, it's like they need to be able to shoot threes at a 40% clip in a week.
It's like, so a lot of people learn piano in Hong Kong, right?
Right.
Because it's like a requirement, basically, like a hidden one. So it takes time to like, you have to go from like level like maybe 1, 3, 5, like whatever. So it's not like, oh, once I practice for a week, I can be like, who's the great pianist? I don't know, like Lang, like those kind of people. But
there's also not a 6'10" guy trying to stop you from hitting the keys. Correct?
Yep.
So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's closed. Sorry, I don't mean to take this away from you, but keep going. So culture.
So I just feel like basketball, as I know, like it takes sports, like in general, it takes so much time, effort, money to invest in it, and the result might not be what you want at first. There's failure. Like there's a point that like in the 2 years when COVID hit, I was like, am I gonna be able to go? Like there's a point that like you thought you don't see hope, but it's not true. You're still working towards the goal. Like you're still in the process. So as long as you're in the direction, it will come to you after. It might not be now, but I think we don't understand this.
Go on.
Like sports is just a long-term development. Like you can't be able to throw all your money now. Like if someone walk in and say, I'm gonna give you this much money, I need to be able to shoot like Curry in a month, I would just say. Like we would take the money and say, oh, I'm gonna be able to do that. No, right? Because it depends on the potential, how the experience of the player, like
everything.
Like how many Steph Curry is gonna be in the world? There's only one now. So the culture of we need success right after I throw this money in is hurting the sports development, especially basketball, because it's a team sport. It's not like individual is I think is less there's less things that would affect, like external factors that would affect, but the culture definitely didn't help with team sports development. And secondly, I think there's not, go back to what we said, there's not many people who know how basketball outside Hong Kong is like. So if I know how basketball is like outside the world now, when I talk to when you give me the opportunity to talk to different coaches from around the world, European, and when I play summer league, I get to meet so many Division 1 players, coaches. Like I always wonder why there's so many people who are so passionate in basketball outside of the world.
You mean outside of Hong Kong?
Yeah. And who are willing to just pour their heart and soul in it like you. Like it's not very easy, but it's a lot easier to find people like that and outside of Hong Kong.
Interesting because Coach Jimmy, from the Bay Area Dragons, he's awesome. Amazing guy, really, really good guy, super passionate. Tells me that there's a lot of people like him in China. And he asked me a question, is when I go to the US, is it harder for me to operate or do my thing in the US, or is it harder here? And I say it's always harder here, because when you go into the US, it's very admirable, meaning really cool what I do, but I'm not the only person. There's people who are doing just as much or even more than me, right? Like you look at my hero, Bob Hurley from Jersey City, New Jersey, one of the most winningest coaches when St. Anthony's was around. He's coached for, and I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, Bob, I want to say 50 years. That's probably wrong because you're probably not there. Let's say he coached for 30 years. No, 40 years, 30 to 40 years.
Hope you won't see this.
No. And he took $0. But he put, I'm going to make this wrong again, but over 1,000 kids into college who should not have gone to college. They should have been either very mediocre basketball players, or they should have been sometimes, right? They should have been in jail. They should have been, some of them should have been dead. Some of them, that, look at that. Look at that is making a huge difference. And so it's very easy, because it's uncommon, but it's not that uncommon.
Yeah.
Right? talk about the development of Hong Kong basketball. And this could make it or it might not make it. You will say if it makes it or not. Like, this could be cut out.
I think, okay. I was just having this conversation with Caitlin this morning.
Yeah.
She told me something very interesting too. I told her, I think we don't have a goal. Like for them fencers, they know, oh, I have this Asian championship, I have this Asian game, I have this Olympic that I want to reach, like to the goals. But for us, I honestly don't know what is our goal. Like
But so,
on the Hong Kong
so what
team.
is the difference? Because you do have the Asian, you have Asian qualifiers, champ,
Yeah.
like you do.
Yeah.
So it's not, it can't be that.
But it's like you gather us to have like 2 times per week practice, and most of the people are like working, like come after work. So the consistency is not there at first. Like there's like so many different factors that there might not be like full team like that in practice. Like it's just even like our coach is not a full-time coach, so
For the national team.
yeah, for national team. So I just feel like I don't know what is the development here.
So you're talking about, because here's something that I cannot talk about. No, actually I'm very qualified to talk about now. But I was not qualified to talk about it when I was younger because I didn't go through the local school system.
Yeah.
Right? The reason that I have goal team and we start at 13 is because you're very lucky because we started at 18, 19.
Yeah.
Right. When you get into your 20s, come on. Like you're developing still, but it's not the same thing. Youth development. Is it important in Hong Kong and what does it look like? Because I don't know.
Okay. For me growing up playing basketball, I was very lucky to be in one of the like most like prestigious like women basketball, like
Girls basketball,
girls
high school.
like high school. I basically didn't have any loss.
She didn't lose in
high school career.
how long were you there for?
6 years.
6 years. You didn't lose in 6 years.
For like a school game, no. I don't think I've lost any
Wow.
game with my group.
Never lost.
No,
So you don't know what hard feels like.
not really.
Right.
Like I only lost when it's like a little bit higher level, but it's different because school like it's more like a bond.
Interesting.
Like, it's different, yeah.
Positive or negative?
Now I would say negative.
But you don't know that it's negative until you.
Yeah, because last year we lost the championship, like for the GNAC championship.
Right.
Like I was leading the team and then we lost. It was heartbreaking. I literally cried so many times after. Like I was in the locker room by myself crying about it because it was my first time facing like a championship game loss. It's my first time. But then I was talking to my sports psychologist. She was like, now it's the opportunity for you to regroup, recover, and then come back stronger next year. And which is very interesting. After we lost, I feel like my crying emotion is more like, of course it's upset, but it's more like angry, like anger. Like, and I can feel it from all my teammates too. Like we're so hungry to get back to the gym right after we lost.
It's
like,
good.
Everyone is asking me for workout stuff. Everyone is asking me, am I gonna go workouts? Can I come with you? Like this loss, of course it's not the outcome that we all want, but it actually teach me so much more than
Winning for 6
Winning.
years.
yeah. Like of course I learned a lot for the 6 years.
Yeah,
It's like a
sure.
foundation, but like I gained like my lifetime friendship there.
Yeah, very important.
But like I didn't really experience the heartbreak, the failure for me to get better. Like I'm like so like I'm not that type of person that if I win I'm not gonna get better. But it's like I feel good. Like I'm winning, like so some of you might think like why do I pour so much hard work when I'm winning already? Like you won't know your like what you're like we were weaknesses basically.
For sure.
I think now like I have a lot better understanding of myself after I lost that game. Like I know what I have to work better. I know what I can help with the team. I know in the leadership role what I have done good and bad when the result is actually not what I want. So next year, I can't guarantee a championship, but we're working towards it. And like of course I want to get it for me, for the team, for coach, for the school. But hey, it's sports. There's win and loss. It's 50-50. Like it should be 50-50.
Yes, life
shouldn't
is 50-50, if that.
So yeah, it's a good thing that I was so happy when I win, but it's a bad thing for development.
2 more questions. Where's Hong Kong basketball going to be in 10 years?
That's a tough one. It really depends. I mean, the stuff that you're doing for a Go team, for me, is definitely on the right track. That, in my opinion, that is gonna help. But it really depends how many people buy into this. And we're so lucky to have I'm so lucky to have you and so many people behind us to like provide resources for us to just go to the state and explore. Like they don't ask for they don't invest you and be like, hey, I need you to get the championship for me in the state, right? You're not gonna like promise like, hey, give me like this much money and I'm gonna get you the AAU championship, right? Like we're so lucky, but this has to be keep going, and there should be more people who are so passionate about it to be able to go out and see the world.
Passionate about basketball.
Yeah. And I can't really say it like this, like, oh, it's gonna be good or bad, but I hope it's gonna be in a good way, and I hope there's gonna be women's professional like team at least, because now we have one men's team. So I wish in 10 years there's gonna like I can still play like when I come back, like maybe. But I can't really I think we're just in the very beginning stage too.
Extremely beginning.
There's still a lot of trial and error. Like, yeah.
So this next question because it's actually more about me than no, it's not. It's about both of us. Is this necessary for Hong Kong? Is Gold Team necessary?
Yeah, because personally, I think I inspire at least a little, like
a lot,
good amount of girls.
Good amount.
Because I know I'm the role model of them now. Like when some of the girls, like look at me and be like, oh, that's like sometimes they'll be like, like they'll be looking at you, and then I know I'm doing the right thing because I think I want to use my experience. I want to share it to the Go Team girls, and when they get to the state, they will understand what we were talking about. And like Nicole, she went to the state, and now I think
different.
She's So when they go to the state, they're gonna face heartbroken for sure, because there's girls so much better than them, and they're gonna see how people treat basketball and how big basketball is in the state, and it's gonna change their lives too, like how you changed mine too. So it's necessary, and it's the first time, so it's gonna be so big for people to recognize us too, I think. Because
you mean the Americans?
Yeah,
for sure.
When I get there and I play well, people are like, oh, they were so impressed.
Yeah. So I always say this. I mean, for me, being an American and Chinese, and this is one thing about that I actually like about the Americans, is that someone that looks like us, or especially you, more so, when they think of Asians and basketball, it doesn't really go together.
Yeah.
So you have to earn my respect.
Yep.
But once you've got my respect.
Yep.
Fair, right?
It's like in the summer leagues.
Fair.
When I can put the ball in the hoop.
That's all that matters.
And they know I'm good. They will invite me to their group.
See, that's what I'm saying. So it's not for me, and and I think that this 99% of the time, is when you can hoop, like, differences don't matter as much. Because now you've got the respect. Of course there's going to be some people who you don't want to associate with, and you don't want to associate with those people anyway.
Yeah.
But true,
Yep.
when you've earned their respect on the court, like, you've got the respect. Now they're like, okay, fair.
I'm so lucky that I think most of, like, I would say all my teammates respect me a lot. Yeah, but it's like they told me because I worked so hard at first.
Number one.
And then when I say something, like, I apologize for something that I did wrong, and I would try to fix it. Even if I didn't fix it yet, they would still respect I tried to fix it.
Do you know what? It's so interesting that you say that. So number one, you work the hardest. Number two, you love the game the most easily, right? And number three, you're the best. Interesting story. When I was in college, there was a point guard, Dante Chisholm. Chiz, shout out to you, Chiz. He should have gone D1. He should have gone mid-major D1. He would have been very good at mid-major D1. Some reason, I've never asked you this, Chiz, but he went D3. And we had a bunch of these guys when I played, and that's why we were top 25 in the country. And it's so interesting. Chiz is from the Bronx, and he's an African-American guy, and he remains a good friend till today. And someone was giving Dante, some advice on, like, that he wasn't working hard enough or whatever. And he's like, man, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. The only person in this room who can tell me that is Will. The only person who can tell me that. And that other guy was around just as good as him. And I was nowhere near as good as him. But the fact that I put so many more hours in than him gave me the right to go at him.
Yeah.
I remember very clearly we were at a meeting and he was like, there's no one who can give me any advice on this team except Will. In terms of working harder. He's like, there's nobody. And at that very moment I was like, you know what? Like, and this is a cultural difference, I think. If you're in Hong Kong, you work hard, you're still not as good as someone. You're still like, don't give me any, you're not good. But maybe it's, from what I've seen in the States, the thing that Chiz really gave me the confidence is that you work harder than me, okay, you can tell me to work harder. And it doesn't mean because I'm the starter and I'm all conference first team player of the year, you have the right to tell me to work harder. But you, who works maybe just as hard, you have no right to tell me that.
Yeah, I think that's what we just talked about this morning too with him. Like, and I think in the state, the culture is like, of course there's gonna be people like that.
For sure.
But most of them are like, of course we have seniority, but it's mutual respect. It's like if you want me to listen to you, like, in terms of,
better be doing
not like only hardworking, like, you better be showing me that you're doing that first.
Yep.
And I was a freshman, and like, I don't think my opinion was not accepted because I was a freshman. Like, and I was literally like far away from, like, I'm from Hong Kong. Like, they don't care. Like, as long as I can bring the team something, I can put something on the table, and I work so hard, like, they're not gonna be like, hey, like, we don't want to listen to you, like, blah blah.
This is actually the second last question. And I'm going to put myself in front of this rather than Yannie. I'm going to tell you my opinion, and this probably won't make it into the final cut. For me, the best player development is the best coaching development. True or false?
Yeah, because the coach can affect so many people.
Okay. And the coach is the one who's developing the player, like, supposedly. The thing that Hong Kong needs the most is local coaching development.
Yeah, and you want to, like, you want a good amount of people who are so passionate. Like, you need to find those people, but is it that easy to find?
And it's also, a lot of the times, and I can understand this, you love basketball. You were not a very good basketball player, so people judge your coaching by your play.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, right?
Yep.
Right? It's ridiculous. I know, but, like, was Michael Jordan the greatest coach? Was Kobe the greatest coach? No and no. But they were best players.
Yep.
So that theory is obviously not true.
Yep.
Right? So, have we tried to bring foreigners in and it not work? Yes. Maybe it got a little bit better, but at some point those foreigners are going to leave.
Yep.
And then what?
Like, what's the next step?
Right, everything goes back to normal.
Yep.
So then it's actually the local talent, when I say talent I mean coaches,
Yeah.
that is actually the most important part when we're looking at a 10-year plan,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think like, I feel like there's definitely a lot of coach who are like passionate about
Sure.
basketball, but we don't have the right direction or the access to the right people. And which it makes sense too, because most of the coaches, it's not their full-time job. They don't have the time, and I mean you can always find time, but it's very tough to have a full-time job and you want to pour everything to
Tough.
like how you like just sit there and then learn from different coaches. Like there's not many people who are willing to do it at first and who actually have the ability, connection, and time to do it.
Right. Last question. What does a successful life look like to Yannie Chan when it's her last day on earth? How do you know what is a successful life?
It's like
How old do you know? 21.
Yeah.
At 21 years old. I hope at 22 years old you have a different answer. But
Last day?
this is your last day on earth. Say it's your last day on earth. How can you leave the earth happy? What have you done?
I feel like I've treated my family well. I have do what all I can do to reach what I want. And it might work out, it might not, but that's all I'm gonna take. Like if I have like worked so hard, put like all my heart and soul into what I want to do, like it's gonna be, yeah.
Successful life.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that is it for the podcast. Is there anything you want to say to the audience before we're done? Where can people find you?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Yannie Chan. So YNMANCHANN.
Oh, that's very easy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can look me up on Instagram. And I actually hope I can learn from you to do a podcast. I want to start my own podcast too. And you can find me, if you're in Boston, please pull up to Emmanuel or just let me know, like DM me so I can like link and talk to you guys. And don't afraid to reach out to me. Like I'll reply when like I have time and when I see it. So like, yeah.
Excellent. Guys, I appreciate you watching this far. Yannie,
Thank
much
you.
love.
Yep.
Have a very good trip. I'm kind of jealous that I'm not going.
Yes.
Because now, I mean, I've not been to Germany. She's going to be going to Germany. We will see you guys next episode.
See you.
Peace.